I was in my last area, and this ward was kind of harder. Not a lot had been happening, and we decided to, at every dinner appointment, that we were really going to invite the family to invite us to come back and to go visit someone with them. So we're visiting this family, the Gilmores, and they are awesome. He actually taught at the MTC for a couple of years, and they just moved out to Memphis for schooling for him. And we were having dinner with them, and we're like, "Hey, Brother Gilmore, you know where we're going with this. You've been in our shoes." And we asked them, you know, for referrals, but in a more strategic way, I guess you could say. And his first, like, very quickly, he said, "Oh, Kathy." I'm like, "Okay, who's Kathy? We're going somewhere." And he tells us it's this lady, his wife's pregnant. She's, at that time, was about 7.5 months pregnant. And he said, "Oh, we were going on a walk." They'd lived there for about 3 months, so they're still really new to the area. And he's like, "We were just walking around the street the other day, and this lady asked us to come and look at her backyard and to see her deck." Just because that's Southern people, where they'll just, "Hey, come look at this." And they're like, "Okay." So they went and talked to her and talked to Kathy for a while. And then he's like, "I feel like we should go back over and visit her. She told us to come back, and to see her again, so we could just take you guys with us." So we planned it out, and his wife made cookies, and we go over there, and we tried everything from, like, family history to plan of salvation to, like, she just, word of wisdom, like, she was not having it. Like, she just kept throwing at us, like, "I'm not interested, I'm not interested." And we even tried to offer the cookies, and she's like, "I'm on Jenny Craig." And we're like, "Oh, we can't get this one." Like, okay, fine. So I sneak a pass on card, like, on her desk, and then we leave. So we go back to the Gilmore's house, and they give us the cookies. And I noticed their neighbor walking his dog just right behind us. And I get out of the car, and this is a lesson of obedience. I was backing my companion, holding the cookies, and this guy is walking right by me, and I'm like, "Hey, do you want a cookie?" And he was like, "What kind is it?" He was kind of like skeptical, like, "Why is a stranger offering me a cookie?" I was like, "It's chocolate chip, they're really good." So he comes back, and he's like, "Okay, I'll have one." So he takes a cookie. And then in my head, like, he walked away and was just going back into his house. And my first thought was like, "No, I should have done something." And I had the thought, like, just wait. And so I'm backing my companion. She, like, was still in the car at this, and he, like, comes back outside really quick. He's like, "Hey, what is that in your hand?" Because I was holding the Book of Mormon. So he comes back out and start teaching him about the Book of Mormon. And I'm like, "Come outside, like, we're gonna teach a lesson." When she's, like, still in the car, so, like, "Come out here." So he thinks, everyone's, like, first thought is like, "Oh, you guys are the polygamists." We're like, no, like, clear that one up. Then we get a return appointment, and we leave, and Brother Gilmore texts us and, like, count that as 2 member referrals because of Aunt Kathy and with this guy named Skylar. So anyways, we teach Skylar the next day in the Gilmore's home. And so even though we weren't able to teach Kathy, their first thought, it led us to Skylar, who was later baptized a couple weeks later. And it was a really cool experience, just randomly how we met him, offering him a cookie, and he just grasped it and just made sense. I remember watching the restoration video with him. He just started crying. He's like, "How are you guys not crying?" And he's like, this makes sense." And we tried to teach his mom and sister and brother. In that time, they were really busy, and his mom just was working a lot of the time. We taught his little brother, and he had a lot of baptismal dates, but he has a mental disorder, and it was hard for him to be around people, so we didn't like coming to church very often. But I just talked to Brother Gilmore actually a couple of days ago, and his mom got baptized, and his sister's getting baptized next week. So he needed to be that example for them, and the work keeps happening, and it's amazing how Heavenly Father has a plan, and all from a simple cookie.